Welcome. In this video, we will walk through the assembly of the Athena NC targets. Please feel free to pause throughout the video. These instructions are for the NC100 and NC200 models. For demonstration purposes, in this video, we use the NC200 target, which supports small bore and does not have the pellet trap like the NC100. We use the following tools for assembly. 1 measuring tape, 1 socket wrench, sized 7/16, and a spanner, sized 7/16, which is provided. Carefully open the box and remove loose packaging. The box with your target should include a power supply clamp, XO light assembly, bag of nuts and bolts, top clamp with a strip of reflective tape, power supply for the unit, and a power supply holder. Gently remove the target, carefully minding the sharp tape feed blade at the bottom of the unit. Once the target is removed, the wooden base and stand brackets should be left. Remove these, and we'll start here. Base assembly. From the hardware provided, utilize the bag labeled base. First, place a flat washer on each bolt. Then, place each bolt on the bottom side of the board. Next, affix the base brackets, placing a split washer and a nut upon the bolt. Make sure to align the base brackets as shown while assembling. After affixing the brackets, securely fasten the nuts and bolts on the base assembly. Rod assembly. From the hardware provided, use the bag labeled rod. After removing the square tubing and threaded rod from the packaging, place the square tubing into the base assembly brackets, aligning the holes on the rod assembly with the holes on the base assembly. Place the 4 provided bolts in the square tubing, ensuring the heads of the bolts face inwards, as shown. Next, affix the square tubing, securing 1 split washer and 1 nut to the bolt. After affixing the square tubing to the brackets, securely fasten the nuts and bolts on the rod assembly. Ensure all nuts and bolts are fastened to the base assembly and the rod assembly before continuing. Camera arm assembly. Use the bag labeled camera from the provided hardware. Carefully attach the camera arm to the unit, to ensure not to disconnect or damage the ribbon cables. Slide the bolt through the camera arm and mounting point on the target. Place a flat washer, split washer, and nut to the end of the bolt. Tighten the bolt and nut until the split washers are flat, being careful not to over-tighten the hardware on plastic assemblies. Connect the black and red LED power cables to the connector located in the target unit. Mounting the target to the lift. Before sliding the target on the lift, we recommend taking the power adapter bracket and mounting it a little over halfway up the rod, and tighten to keep it in place. Be sure not to over-tighten, which may cause stripping or damage to the bracket. This will let your target head rest gently while you secure the pulley lift in place. Carefully lift the target head using the lip on the back and the steel frame on the front. Glide the target on the square tubing, gently resting it on the power adapter bracket. If the power adapter bracket and target start to slide down from the weight, tighten the bracket a little more until it stops sliding. Orient the top clamp so the reflective strip is facing the target, behind the square tubing. Be sure that the cabling is positioned as shown. The cable should not cross over itself, but should be looped over and under the pulleys as shown here. Make sure to tighten the top clamp enough to hold the target head's weight. The top bracket should sit about 3.5 inches from the top of the square tubing. While holding the target in place, loosen the power adapter holder. Gently lower the power adapter holder and target head until the pulley assembly holds the weight of the target, and the cable lift is tension. The power adapter bracket should be 10 1/8 inches from the base. Remove the plastic cover holding the spooled cable from unwinding, making sure tension is applied to the wire to prevent the cabling from unspooling. Don't be too worried if the cable unspools and gets tangled up. We'll show you how to fix that next, should it happen. This next segment will help you re-spool your cable wire if it becomes an unspooled mess during installation. Before beginning, if you haven't already, ensure the power supply clamp is holding the target's weight, as shown in the last segment. Sometimes, what happens if the cap on the cable spool is removed before tension is applied to the pulley mechanism, the cable will unspool and become a mess of a situation. Don't worry, we have an easy way to get you back on track. First, let it unspool completely, then, guide the cable out of the spool. Make sure you don't kink the cable as this can result in damage to the cable lift. Loosen the nut cap on the first pulley and gently remove the cover, then, wiggle out the wire from the pulley mechanism. Then repeat the process for the lower pulley mechanism. Remove the cap nut that is holding the cable in place and let it hang freely from only the spool on the target. Carefully untangle the cable. Make sure to not introduce any kinks or bends in the metal wire, as it can cause damage to the pulley mechanism. Take your time untangling until you have no knots or twists. With the spool unraveled, and light tension applied, wrap the cable around the lift mechanism counterclockwise until you have about 8 or so inches remaining. Keeping light tension, feed the wire through the top pulley and push back in. Push the cover back on and finger tighten the nut cap. It is important to not over-tighten, which can cause the pulley mechanism to get stuck. Then do the same with the lower pulley, ensuring the wire does not cross over itself. Snap the cover back on the wire spool to prevent it from unraveling again. Once the cover is clicked in, you can release tension from the wire. Finally, place the end of the wire on the top clamp and finger tighten the cap nut, as shown. Tighten the nut behind the end nut cap to ensure the top clamp is tight around the square tubing. It should be able to support the weight of the target head. With the weight of the target being supported by the pulley system, loosen the power adapter clamp and slide down towards the base of the square tubing. Now that there is sufficient tension on the cable, carefully remove the cover from the wire spool. XO frame assembly. Attach one of the supports to the XO board. The support pieces are slotted on one side, which the mirror will eventually slide into. Make sure the slotted ends are facing each other, inwards. You may need to apply pressure to click the pieces into the XO board. Once the side pieces to the XO assembly are firmly attached, use the target number holder to secure the assembly structure as shown. Finally, remove the protective coating from the mirror and slide in the XO assembly. Attach the XO assembly by sliding the bracket onto the rear of the target unit. Be sure to properly attach the keyed connector pins located behind the target, under the now placed XO board. With the camera arm and XO frame attached, we can power on the target. Using the included power supply, attach one end to an available outlet, and the other to the back of the target. The power brick will illuminate when power is detected. You should now be able to power on the unit via the power switch on the back. Now to install the black paper roll and aiming masks. Remove the plastic caps off the end of the paper roll. Then, cut the tape binding the paper roll with a sharp blade. Install the paper roll onto the spring-loaded paper holder. Locate the tabs on the upper right and left side of the target unit. These tabs are designed to rotate forward and backward to lock the back aiming mask, and front aiming mask, in place. Rotate both tabs towards the front of the target to unlock the aiming mask. Install the back aiming mask ensuring the paper stays between the boundaries of the pressure plate, or else there is a risk of skewing the result scores or potentially damaging the unit. Feed the paper roll in between the pressure plate and the main unit in front of the back aiming mask. Ensure the black side of the paper roll faces outward. Confirm that the paper roll stays in between the pressure plate and the main unit all the way down until it reaches the rubber-coated rollers. Power on the target. Then toggle the paper feed switch to the on position. Make sure the paper roll is fed through the bottom of the unit until it reaches the paper blade and then toggle the paper feed switch to the off position. Insert the front aiming mask in front of the paper roll feed, ensuring the aiming mask is staying within the boundaries of the pressure plate, which if improperly installed can result in skewed results scored or possibly damaging the unit. Rotate both tabs towards the back of the unit in order to lock the aiming mask mechanism in place. Facing the back of the target, secure the lead collection bag with an elastic band, as shown. With your NC100 or NC200 now built, it is ready to be used. Please refer back to this video in the future should you need to assemble more targets or add-on targets. Should you need further assistance, our contact information can be found in the description below.